Alright, it's another day. I'm back at it. Had to go to the junkyard and buy some U-bolt brackets. They didn't have the right ones. I just want to have these on here so that when I go to line up all my welds, everything's going to be correct. There we go. Now I have to use something to support the axle to the frame so that I don't lose my position for when I weld my bottom bars in. So I'm going to use the lower leaves. I'm going to grind these down to get them ready to weld. We'll weld them on top of here and up under the frame, just for temporary, to hold the axle in place for when I put my bottom bars in. So I'll be welding that to there, and back there to keep the axle in alignment. I had to use an assistance, some 22s to weigh it down to the point to where I can weld it. Here we go. Time to take the leaf springs out. Alright, the next step is to grind these tabs off to get this cross member out. I'll show you when I'm done. There it is. Got her took out. Bye-bye. Alright, next thing. Got to put the new cross member in. And then we get to the wishbone. See y'all in a minute. This is the infamous cross member. Raises the gas tank. These 3 bolts mount up into the stock bolts, and this front bolt is the only thing that lines up with the rear top bolt. The other bolts we have to drill out. Just coming along. It's my wishbone. I ordered the super pivot for the wishbone because I like to hit side to side a lot. For those that don't know, you can order a super pivot if you want to hit side to side with a 3-link. Getting her all mocked up, making sure everything's right before I tack her. Tacky tack tack. That was kind of tacky. One word of advice. When you're punching all these holes out, punch them out with 9/16 or 5/8. They give you some wiggle room and you'll make your life a lot better on the install. Okay, I want to go over a couple things. Measure, measure, measure. Measure everything. Keep measuring. Make sure everything's right. So if you have to, measure from the front of this to the center of the hole, whatever you got to do, to one of these holes on the side. They're stock holes. Just make sure that the other side is the same hole you're measuring from. Just measure over to it however you got to. Also, you can measure from the back of this plate to the corner of your frame, like so. Measure from there to there. It's 36 3/16. Measure from over there to over here. 36 3/16. Then these should end up directly center over the axle. What I did is I used a laser level, put it on the ground, put the laser level to where it just barely hits, or you can use a level, either way, just against this, and then measure from the back side of this over to the line or over to the level. Make sure those are exact, because that's going to put you dead center on both sides, and then you're good to go. Make a mark on both sides to give you a reference point so that you know where you got to tack. Now it's tack time. Tacky tacky. Oh, also, y'all missed this part. I didn't record it. But putting these grommets in, make sure you lube them up really good. Put the rubber grommets in first, and then put the metal sleeve in. It's still going to stick out a little after you put the metal sleeve in. You'll put the brackets on, tighten them down, and it'll squeeze it tight. Make sure you use a lot of lube. Got the wishbone tacked in. Now time to put sleeves and everything in the lower bars. Okay, now time to put the bottom bars in. As you see, it has a hole for the bag, hole for the shock. The shock is closer to the axle. Make sure the shock is closer to the axle, and the bong for the shock is facing towards the frame, because your bong for your shock is going to be mounted on your C-notch. I don't know if for some reason, when I put that middle sleeve in, it always pushes one side out and I can never get it in. So it goes all the way in with the sleeve not in there, but I think probably because when you put the sleeve in, it puts pressure out and it swells up the bushing. But either way, it's going in. So I'm going to grease up the insides and grease up the outsides. That way it'll be a little easier to get up in there. Got one side in. Let's get this other side. Got one side tacked in. Get this side tacked in. Got her all welded in. Welds ain't pretty, but I mean, they're there. Now, ready to let go of this, jack up the truck, put the truck on jack stands, or put the axle on jack stands and jack up the truck, one of the two. That way I can line up my bag mounting bracket, plasma cut out a hole for it. Next step, let's go. Hold the trigger. Hit it harder. Right. Got the bag bracket pack. I gotta make sure it's square with the bottom rail. Not the prettiest of welds, but it's gonna do. Still got some more to do up underneath, up in there, up in there, and then on the back side. It's getting there. You got bags in, mounted. Got to run some airline, put the back tires back on. I've got some rebuild kits, or not rebuild kits, but a whole new kit to put on there before I put my drum back on there. But I'm gonna get some airline on there, get some air in it, up and down. All right, got the bags mounted, temporary airlines in. I'm gonna switch over to the GoPro. Let y'all see it go up and down, up and down.